Whether I'm worried about hosting or just giving that perfect gift, creating a delicious holiday for my loved ones is super important to me. From effortless holiday hostings to unforgettable gifts, Omaha Steaks delivers the world's best steak experience. They've always been super convenient in giving me the most high-quality steaks I could ask for, whether for myself or a loved one. Omaha Steaks offers unrivaled quality and variety, and every bite is backed by their 100% guarantee. Save big on gourmet gifts and more holiday favorites with Omaha Steaks. Visit omahasteaks.com, and for an extra $35 off, use code YUM at checkout. Terms apply. See site for details. That's omahasteaks.com, promo code YUM. Go to omahasteaks.com and use code YUM at checkout for an extra $35 off. Minimum purchase may apply. See site for details. A big thanks to our advertiser, Omaha Steaks.
We're gonna base everything on your rookie season, so you can only be good if you break out in your rookie season. That's the way it works, right? Anyways,
yes.
Well, welcome back to another Wisco Fanatics Tuesday evening. Today we are recapping the Packers' late unfortunate loss to the Chicago Bears, which was really fun for about 57 minutes. But then we're going to recap the whole thing, including the overtime, and then we're going to preview the Packers again playing on Saturday night against the Baltimore Ravens, which if they win, they clinch playoff spot, or if the Lions lose on Thursday night or tie, the Packers are in the playoffs, so potentially could be clinched into the playoffs before the game even starts. But we're going to hit the intro and get into the recap.
Welcome to another episode of the Wisco Fanatics Show, where we cover the Packers, Bucks, Brewers, and Badgers basketball and football teams from an optimistic and realistic perspective.
Wisco Fanatics is brought to you by Cardboard Legacy, Wisconsin's most complete sports card shop. Buy, sell, grade, and consign all at their location in Oshkosh.
Alrighty, so as with our earlier show today when I talked about the Bucks and then Mike joined me to talk about the Badgers, we have no Jake tonight. Jake is under the weather, so hopefully he's back next week. So I do have Jake's notes. So Jake's notes on the pass rush, Jake said with zero sacks. He said with no Micah Parsons, it was more just playing contain on Caleb Williams, and I was okay with that because it was working, which is fair. For me, looking at the defensive line aspect of it, there were times where I noticed Rashawn Gary jogging and not hustling, which just is just a really tough look, and B, just makes me appreciate Micah Parsons even more because that guy just doesn't stop. But unfortunately, Rashawn Gary didn't step up in the way that I hoped. He had 4 pressures, had 2 quarterback hits, but 0 sacks and 0 tackles. So it's nice that he was in the backfield and making Caleb Williams have to run around a little bit, but that's pretty much just cardio, and he bumped Caleb Williams a couple times. I will say Jordan Riley made a nice run stop on a 2nd and 10 that set up a 3rd and 8, and then a false start made it a 3rd and 13, forced a throwaway, and then a punt. In the second half, he had another 2nd and 10 run stop that set up a 3rd and 9 at the 23-yard line after the Bears marched down the field, forced an intentional grounding, turned a 39-yard field goal into a 51-yard field goal that Cairo Santos did still make, but 2 really good plays by Jordan Riley. I saw people complaining, again, naturally, because people can't resist complaining about Lucas Van Ness, among other things, but people complaining about Rashawn Gary and Lucas Van Ness. Rashawn Gary played 37 snaps. Lucas Van Ness played 26 snaps. He's still kind of working his way back from his injury. But Lucas Van Ness drew a very critical holding penalty on a 3rd and 10. He was in the backfield, would have had a pretty free shot at Caleb Williams, but got held. So it drew a pretty critical holding penalty. And then unfortunately, Brinson gave it back on the next play with a 15-yard face mask penalty. It's unfortunate. I don't think it was necessarily intentional, but it is what it is. But okay, with that, the defensive line, only 6 defenders who had above average PFF grades. Again, we don't take PFF grades as gospel, but Packers had 6 defenders with above average PFF grades, which I think probably should have been more, especially when you consider the way that they played for the first 57 minutes, as with the rest of the team. Brenton Cox and LVN were the only 2 that had above average grades from the defensive line. So definitely think there's some opportunity for them to perform better next week, but we'll get to that in the preview. So moving on to run defense.
Yeah, it was not that good, to be honest with you. I thought the Bears ran the ball pretty well. My own guy looks good. I liked him in college. They ran for almost 6 yards a clip. I know a couple of them were due to Williams' long runs, and I think DJ Moore had like a 12-yard run, so that definitely added to it, but they were still chunking us. They ended up with 4 runs of over 10 yards, which is something you don't really want to see. They forced 5 missed tackles in the running game, and it never seemed that bad because they had a tough time converting on third down. But on the early downs, they were definitely killing us a little bit. Or they were just running for a first down and then resetting the downs anyways. So they never had like super long drives throughout the night that I can really recall, but I think it was a little worrisome, especially when you're talking about the defensive line. I don't think they performed super well in the run game. There are a couple plays here and there, but overall it's just not really up to par.
Yeah, I would agree. Brian, talk about the linebackers and the tackling.
Yeah, I mean, I thought the linebackers kind of had an inconsistent game. They're fine with, they made some decent tackles. We didn't miss a lot of tackles, but I'll say they're 8 for 9 allowed in coverage for 105 yards, which isn't great. And then, as Simon just alluded to, they average almost 6 yards a clip, which means the linebackers are making the tackles, but they weren't getting them around the line of scrimmage, getting up there, attacking through the holes and beating them to the spot. It wasn't great. Six missed tackles as a team, you like that, but that's definitely a decent number for a game. But yeah, they didn't step up the way I thought they needed to step up. I will say Edge Cooper had a couple of hurries. I still think they're probably going to try to bring him on some more pressures because you can definitely see us dying on blitzes and stuff this game because of the lack of Micah. But not good enough. We need these guys to step up a little more. It's hard to say not good enough because we blew the game. We lost the game that we should have won. But it kind of reared its ugly head a few times.
Yeah. Jake's notes on the 3rd and 4th down defense had the Packers held the Bears to 2 for 11 on 3rd down, 2 for 3 on 4th down. The first half they were 1 for 4. In the second half they were 1 for 7. Didn't pick up their second 3rd down conversion until overtime, which is definitely a bummer. But it definitely felt like they were more efficient on 3rd and 4th down than they actually were. So I guess that is 1 point in the defense's favor. Simon, how did you feel about the secondary?
Honestly, I thought they were pretty good for most of the night up until the last 5 minutes of the game. It was just super brutal watching Keyshawn Nixon. I don't know what happened on miscommunication on assignment. I'm pretty sure it ended up being Keyshawn Nixon's man. I have to look, but I'm pretty sure it ended up being him, and it was just a miscommunication on the back end and wide open. I swear, I was like, because it looked like Caleb Williams was just throwing the ball away, and then wide open.
Basically just chucking it to the back pylon.
The pass in overtime, it was a good pass. I don't have much to honestly complain about. Keyshawn Nixon got beat a little bit, but I don't think it was anything crazy egregious. Like
DJ Moore.
My issues with
DJ
that
Moore
play
is a good player. Huh?
My issues with that play is what the hell were the safeties doing? Like, why do they not have someone helping? If you go back and watch the actual game chart of it or whatever, Xavier McKinney and I think Bullard was that safety were basically just in the middle of the field standing there and doing nothing. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah, it was brutal. Just watch them hold everything down for, 57 minutes, and then they had 4 forced incompletions, 3 pass breakups. They were playing decently well against guys they should, play against. But DJ Moore is a good receiver. I like DJ Moore as a player. I think he's good. I think the Bears misuse him a lot.
And I like Olamide Zaccheaus as a wide receiver 3 actually a lot.
I like him too.
He did the Packers one big favor by having a pretty critical drop on, I believe, a 3rd down. But I still think he's good. Yeah, Scott agrees with us on the face mask and the no help over the top. All right, red zone defense. 1 for 2, the first drive of the game. I'll save my thoughts on how that play unfolded for the Bears on their first red zone trip, where they gave it back to the Packers. Other than that, the second red zone drive of the game, 3 rushes for Swift, and then a really bad 4th down play call on that red zone play, and then the last drive of regulation with 39 seconds left. 1st and 10 was a completion to Loveland for 6 yards, an incompletion to Zacchaeus, a throwaway, and then the blown coverage to tie the game on 4th down. It's just really unfortunate. I think the Packers' chances of winning that game was 94%, something like that. Basically after that drive, and it's okay. And I think that's what bothers people more, because I had this conversation with people, and I'm like, okay, if you say the Packers are going into this game without Micah Parsons, the first game without them, and then you're going to lose Jordan Love in the first half, you're going to be losing Josh Jacobs, he's only going to play 20, 22, 26 snaps. Malik Willis is going to get hurt. You're going to go to overtime. You're going to fumble an onside kick. And all of those things are going to happen to lose in overtime to Chicago in their own building. If you knew all those things going into the game, you'd be like, okay, yeah, we're probably going to lose this game by 10 points. And if that had just happened, yeah, it's great. But the thing is, when you're up by,
10?
Yeah, it was 10 points with 5 minutes to go, basically.
Yeah, basically.
That's the part where it's okay, that's where it sucks.
No, yeah, it's even worse. We were up 10 with 3 minutes left to go, and it was 3rd and 20.
Oof.
Yeah, and then overtime and another fumble. And
put it this way, it was since 2016, the StatCast there, this is a top 5 loss ever.
Do you know what the crazy thing is that, in my opinion, it might not even, this might be bias, which is fully acknowledged here, but it might not even be the worst loss of the week in the NFL.
You're talking about the Rams game?
The Rams
game was pretty bad.
Yeah, that was pretty brutal too.
Yeah, because that one meant a lot too, obviously. But
right.
I got to say this about this game: all these Bears fans flexing. So I hope to God we get them first week of the playoffs.
I do too.
For all this stuff to go wrong, for you guys to squeak by in Chicago, and you want to flex and act like you're some heroes and champions.
Yeah,
maybe you beat us in the playoffs, maybe, but you are not heads in. You're not the better team. The better team lost the game by completely undisciplined play, to be quite
and backups.
Yeah, and backups. So we'll see what happens.
I think it's funny if you look at where the playoffs stand right now is I think the 2 through 4 seed would all lose today. It's the Bears,
I saw that too, and I was like, dude,
the Buccaneers, and who else is
49ers going to the Eagles.
Yeah.
Literally,
I think
all the wild card teams might be favored.
I think they would go 3 for 3, honestly.
Don't tell me we lose this game if Jordan Love plays that whole game.
I think so.
He was playing fine. He was 7 for 13 for 77 yards, and we messed up on 4th down.
We'll get into that. Let's go back to special teams. Bryant, I'm very interested to hear your take on this.
I mean, I don't care about anything else they did in the game. In the biggest moment, we failed, and it's again. This happens over and over and over. In the biggest moments of the game, the special teams is letting us down. I don't know. You can't really blame Rich because Romeo Doubs needs to recover that ball. But is he the best person to have on the hands team? I don't know. I thought Matthew Golden was our best hands guy. Right? So I don't know. Also, if you go back and watch it, I hate watching the play because there's a couple Packers just standing around watching it happen as you see all the Bears jumping into the pile. It's what are you guys doing? Do something. Just jump in there even. Maybe the ball squirts out and goes out of bounds. Do something. And we were just standing around being lazy and lackadaisical. Romeo Doubs needs to keep his damn eyes open. I think he's maybe he's not the best to have there because of his concussion issues, and maybe he does have a little intimidation. So when he knows he's about to get absolutely smacked, you go and watch the play. His eyes are closed when he's trying to grab that ball. look, you need to know your players too. And Romeo might not come out and say, I don't want to do that, but you know what I mean? And I heard some of the beat writers talking about it this week. They have never once seen the Packers practice this play. Apparently they practice it on dry runs. So they're not even kicking the ball. They're just doing it through a walkthrough during the week. What the hell does that practice? You can't simulate a bounce. And of course the bounces will never be the same, but how often is Romeo Doubs catching a ball going end over end off the ground?
I mean, that's also practices are just so tough because they're so limited in time.
They are limited,
too.
Yeah.
So, are you really going to sit there and practice an onside kick too much? Probably not.
I don't know. It's been an awful thorn in our side for more than one occasion. So, yeah. So, I mean, it is what it is. This other thing I have is one more thing. This is not necessarily special teams; it's kind of coaching too. There's 10 games this year where one team hasn't punted. We're 0-2 in games we haven't punted this year. Every other team is 8-0.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah. Turnovers will do that for you, unfortunately. Andrew said, the Seahawks game was the worst to lose. That 2-point conversion was wild. It absolutely was. That's why you play through the whistle. Andrew said reaction time's worse than after concussions. Fielding an unpredictable bounce is different than catching a predictable pass if your reaction time's slow. And I don't even think it's necessary that his reaction time is slow. I think, to Brian's point, I think he was trying to duck hard contact. I don't disagree with having Romeo Doubs out there because he showed during the game some really, really strong hands plays. But you can't make a mistake at the worst possible time.
It's
great that he makes a bunch of third down catches and a touchdown catch. That's all great. But you got to secure the ball before trying to get down. And that's, to me, what I was watching was he was trying to get down before he had the ball, which you just can't do. And I had this conversation also. Yeah, and the heaters sabotage. Yeah, that was another thing. Which,
even they could just teach him, don't even try to stop it. If you can see that it's going to go out of bounds, move it out of the way and let it go.
That's what I was going to say. I want to say it was Cooper Kupp, actually, that did it earlier this year, that just swatted a ball out of bounds.
I didn't know you could do. I thought that was a penalty if you purposely bat it out of bounds.
Yeah, something. But do you just go backwards to keep the ball, or do they get the re-kick? I don't know.
I mean, they got to re-kick it, right?
Better.
Yeah, I don't know.
Than fielding a ball that you're not confident you can catch.
Yeah.
So that's the unfortunate thing. Like I said, it just felt like he was trying to go down.
Yeah, illegal batting.
Okay, illegal batting. Yeah. And the other thing that I said that I wish would have happened is because it bounced so many times before it got to Romeo Doubs, what I would have liked to see is somebody else from the Packers grab it inside the 10 yards. Because nobody from Chicago can touch it until it goes that 10 yards. If you feel that you're confident that you can grab it, just go jump on it before the 10 yards. Then nobody can touch
that's what Brandon Bostic tried to do, and they're trained to block right there. So
Bostic tried to jump in the air to get it. I'm saying if you can dive on top of it, like a fumble more so than
or even Romeo Doubs, put your freaking foot out of bounds and just touch the ball.
Yeah. Something. Yeah. And then it was weird too, Josh Jacobs being out there in the middle of the field. Again, it's wondering about the personnel a little bit. That's where I can see maybe getting on Bisaccia a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving into offense, start with the tight ends, which we have one left.
Yeah. It's just tough for Fitzpatrick losing on Achilles injury. I think he tore his ACL 2 years ago before the season started, or was it last year? Last year before the season started. So just rough go for him in terms of health. And I thought he was playing well. Obviously not like Tucker Kraft, but I thought between him, Musgrave, and I thought the three of them together and Wiley as well. I thought they created a pretty good conglomerate of guys that can do a little bit of everything. It sucks. Wiley's the only other tight end we have in our roster right now. I don't know what they're gonna do. If they're gonna carry two guys in on the roster. I don't know if I haven't looked at Wiley's health this week.
He's limited today.
Said limited,
yeah. So he'll probably end up playing, from what I remember. So I don't know if they're going to bring only 2 tight ends in because they're looking at activating Colin Oliver. I'm surprised by that. They did. Okay. Yeah. So that's kind of surprising to me, but
I think we have some on our practice squad they could call up.
But that's like 7 defensive ends or some crap on our roster right now. The roster is constructed so weird.
Group, so.
Yeah. But I thought Musgrave, I thought he played pretty well. He had 3 catches for 38 yards, and I thought he blocked. I think he's getting better, honestly. I really do. I think with this heavy playing time that he has right now, I think it's done a lot of good for him. And I thought
on his feet, which is crazy.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think that's just kind of what it is now. But I think depending on your expectations for him, I think he's playing pretty damn well.
Yeah.
So we have 2 tight ends on the roster.
Yeah. Right now we have
2 tight ends on the practice squad. So McAllen Castles, who's a 6'4", 244-pound guy, and then Drake Dabney, who's a 6'5", 246-pound guy. Don't really remember any of them, but they both wear numbers in the 40s, so they might be looked at more as like fullbacks. But then again, they're on the practice squad, so it's whatever number it is. So
I want to say
we talked about this too, that they
Castles
might do more like jumbo sets with extra offensive linemen.
Yeah.
So
Mercedes, I think he's actually on Denver's active roster right now.
I think he was on their practice squad, and someone mentioned him.
I thought they activated him.
If they activated
him, and he went back down.
Oh, then he went. Okay, then they went down.
So Matt kind of chuckled or whatever when he mentioned it, but
they said that Gutekunst has a plan. So whatever that means.
I wonder if they reach out to Mercedes and is like, "Hey, do you want us to take you off of a?" Not that we can't win the Super Bowl, but Broncos right now are our number 1 seed. Like, this dude's never won a Super Bowl in his career. Maybe he wants to stay with them, and it would, I know it's really if we sign him, we have his rights. But do you want to do that to someone who, we do kind of like, and is that something he would be wanting to do?
Yeah.
With it, yeah, he is on the Broncos practice squad, so he's available.
With his age and all that, I just don't know that. I'm sure they reach out, like if anything, and be like, I know they can't really talk to him, but they might be like someone on the team, hey, hit him up and see like what his thoughts are.
What do you think? Yeah. So I guess that's an option. But yeah, I agree. I think Wiley's probably going to play this week, which is good because I think he's got an opportunity to be a pretty solid contributor as well. All right, wide receivers.
Yeah, I mean, pretty quiet. Honestly, quiet game. I mean, Dobbs was having a good game as a wide receiver. He had a good game.
Yep.
But obviously, everything else is overshadowed by the onside kick. He had 5 catches for 84 yards and a touchdown. So the rest of our wide receivers were really quiet. Watson had 2 catches. Reed had a couple catches, had 3 catches for 34 yards, but along a 31. So his other catches really didn't do anything. And then Golden having 0 targets, I just think is kind of inexcusable at this point, in my opinion.
You want to know why?
I know it's because and Love went out, but still, like he's explosive. We need to start trying to get this guy in the game more.
I think if anything, I think he should have been inactive for this game. If he was only going to play 22 snaps and 11 of them, he only played 11 passing snaps.
Yeah.
So if anything, I think he should have just been inactive. If he's that limited, I don't even think he should be active, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I don't even know if it's limited or if it was a game the way the game went with Jordan getting injured and stuff. I would have to look at the snap count share after the injury. I didn't get that in depth with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, quiet game by the wide receivers for sure.
Yeah. And you look at the passing game distribution between Love and Willis, it wasn't crazy different, but it definitely shrunk the game when Love went out. You don't draw up as many deep targets for Malik Willis, but I'll talk about that as well. So Malik Willis was 2 for 2 behind the line of scrimmage, 3 for 4 from 0 to 9, and 3 for 4 from 10 to 19, and 1 for 1 on 20 plus. Did a really good job finding Romeo Dobbs for a deep touchdown. I do think this is credit to some credit to Matt LaFleur, and I'll talk about why in a minute. Jordan Love was 1 for 1 behind the line of scrimmage, 4 for 6 from 0 to 9, 3 for 5 from 10 to 19, and did not take any deep shots. It's unfortunate that they didn't get a chance to go downfield at all with Jordan Love. I do think that they probably could have taken advantage of C.J. Gardner-Johnson a little bit more than they were able to during this game. And obviously would hope he's okay and not injured, but Romeo Doubs absolutely cooked him on the play that he got. So it's yep, you are washed, but I hope you're not hurt long term, because obviously we don't cheer for injuries or anything like that. But good job by Malik Willis. Bryant mentioned 6 targets for Romeo Doubs, 6 targets for Christian Watson, 3 each for Luke Musgrave and for Jaden Reed. So it's still pretty spread around, just a little bit more condensed with Malik Willis in the game. All right, jumping into the offensive line.
Yeah, I'll say they didn't inspire too much confidence with Tom being out. I thought it was a very up and down game. I thought they did okay, and I mean it's hard to say too much, but because they ultimately allowed 8 pressures, only 1 sack with the dirty hit to the head. I thought Ryan played pretty decent. I thought Rasheed Walker had a pretty good bounce back game without getting no more penalties or anything like that. They did rush for 192 yards. I mean, so it's hard to blame the offensive line too much. However, I thought in big moments, they kind of let us down, like the one Morgan play where I'm sure you guys have seen it. He just completely gets off balance and blowing up. Yeah. I think that's the last play in overtime, our last play regulation.
Yeah, regulation.
We got to take the knee or whatever, or let the time run out. So, I mean, just really inconsistent. There's some good stuff on tape and there's some not so great stuff. I did kind of figure that it was a decent chance that Morgan would get to start at right tackle over Kennard, because they like to use Kennard for those 6-person sets.
Yep.
We might be able to get by with this next game. We'll talk about it, but hopefully, Tom will be back before too long. Matt LaFleur did say he was feeling a little bit better today, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. I didn't even mention that before we were talking about it, but playing with old Zach Tom is obviously a big deal too. Yeah. Andrew said Malik Willis is our best backup since Mark Brunell. I mean, Matt Flynn played some pretty good games for the Packers.
Yeah. I don't know. I think people need to kind of lay off Jordan Morgan. I'm really tired of it.
Mm-hmm.
I understand. People are passing that clip around like that's his whole game.
Right.
Not a great.
Overall, he had a decent game.
Yeah, I thought he played decent, and he's moved around. He's moved around the offensive line all season.
Yep, he's yet to play his actual position that he was drafted from.
Right. I don't know. It gets old.
Yeah, he's played. I just want to pull up his career once and see. Okay, so Jordan Morgan in his tackle has played 0 left tackle snaps. He's played 256 snaps at left guard. He's played 478 snaps at right guard and 102 snaps at right tackle. So I do still think that there's an opportunity for him to be the starting left tackle next year, which I'm okay with because that's what he was drafted as. But I agree with Simon. I think he's being judged a little unfairly for being out of position. It'd be like judging a running back playing wide receiver or something like that. Being out of position, is what it is. But,
yeah, and that's what I was kind of getting at. They played a decently solid game. It was just in the bigger moments it seemed to kind of fail.
Well, the other thing that I would throw out there with Jordan Morgan is he's available. He's kept himself healthy.
Yep.
So that's a point in his favor too. All right. Looking at the run game.
Yeah, I thought Manuel Wilson ran the ball pretty well. I think Josh Jacobs
first set of downs.
Yep. Yeah, I was like, here we go. This guy. Yeah. But after that he played pretty well. He went 14 for 82, forced 3 missed tackles. He had 3 runs of 10 yards or more. Poor Jordan Love got hurt. He had a couple scrambles for 7 yards. I think he ended up converting one for a first down. It was just like conglomerate of guys just getting 1 or 2 carries, minus Malik Willis adding 44 yards on the ground on 10 carries. Josh Jacobs, I think he's just a little bit banged up. He went 12 for carries for 36 yards. He forced a couple missed tackles, but man, that fumble was so brutal. Oh man, I know we'll get there, but red zone was not our friend this week.
Yeah. We can talk about that too. I mean, I'll just jump in. Do you have anything else you wanted to say on the run game? Otherwise, I'll just jump in.
No, just like Reed had a carry for 6 yards. Brooks had 1 for 4, and then Golden added 4 yards on 2 carries as well.
So the red zone thing. Like, obviously, the Packers, they were 0 for 5. They had field goals 3 times, and they had a turnover on downs, and they had a fumble. Josh Jacobs has 2 fumbles this year. He's got over 200-some carries. Again, he had 5 fumbles last year. Yes, he fumbled once in the red zone last year, which was unfortunate. But he has 2 fumbles in, let's see, carries. For some reason, I'm looking at blocking, which is obviously not what I want. Okay, so he's got 230 carries, and he has 2 fumbles. And similarly to the Romeo Doubs situation, it's like these things just happened at the worst times. Like, they had a great scramble by Malik Willis to get into the red zone. They got down to the 4-yard line, and the fumble happens. Like, that's like, if that happens, like the onside kick doesn't happen. Obviously, this is all happening in a vacuum, so it's like, okay, yeah, great. But obviously, 7 more points on the board would have been a big deal in this game. Scott Wilson did look good after having a ball that hit him in the face go out of bounds because he didn't catch it, which also happened in the red zone. Yep. That was brutal. And I will say, after that, the one play that they had to Christian Watson after that, in the back of the end zone, that to me, was that not pass interference?
I thought it was.
It looked like Watson's trying to go back towards the middle of the field, and the linebacker is just running right into him.
Yeah,
I thought it was.
I don't know if the refs determined that like the ball wasn't going there.
Hey, this is Steve Gorman, radio host, sports commentator, former drummer for the Black Crowes. The winter holidays are here, a time for festive celebrations, family gatherings, and ringing in the new year. Whether it's a holiday party, a night out with friends, or just relaxing by the fire with a few drinks, it's a season full of good cheer. But here's something else to add to your holiday plans: a safe and sober ride home. Just like in sports and music, always have a game plan. And the most important part of any plan is sticking to it. If you plan to drink, take that plan a step further. Call a rideshare, a taxi, a sober friend, or have a designated driver lined up before the night begins. Drinking and driving is a decision that can change your life and the lives of others forever. A DUI, a crash, an injury. The consequences are real and lasting. So please, for your sake and for everyone else on the road, make the smart choice. Get a sober ride home. Drive sober or get pulled over. Paid for by NHTSA.
Because Love threw it there, but the wind was blowing it away. But that's still, the ball's in the air. One guy's trying to go for it. The other guy's not. So I thought that could have been pass interference, but they took the field goal there. Looking at the first red zone possession, I saw a lot of people saying, oh, if they took those 3 points, this game would be different.
You can't.
The Bears, if you watch our show, you would know this. The Bears have a bottom third red zone defense. Going for it is absolutely the right call, especially when you are in Chicago. That's the right call to go for that.
You can't blame it on that one, though, because then you could say, I mean, if Josh Jacobs doesn't fumble and we decide to take the field goal there to make it a 13-point game or whatever it would have been.
Yeah, I have no issues with the play calling in the red zone. I really don't. The first one that they didn't get the incompletion to Christian Watson, that to me is on execution more than it is on play calling.
Yep.
I think we've seen Jordan Love make plenty of tight window throws that we think he can make that throw.
I don't know. When things don't work out, people just blame play calling.
Well, and hindsight's always 20/20. It's always 20/20.
No way.
Scott said risking it for the biscuit. I mean, it's not. I don't even think it's that big of.
I don't think it was that big. Yeah, I don't think it was that crazy a risk.
Red zone defense is. And then they had their 5th red zone trip. They had a 12-yard run by Emmanuel Wilson to get into the red zone. They did a jet sweep to Jaden Reed for 2 yards. Emmanuel Wilson ran for 2 yards. And then Jaden Reed ran again. Malik Willis threw to Jaden Reed this time for 3 yards. It felt gross to say, but I approved of the conservative nature of that drive because we've already seen 2 drives in the red zone and in turnovers, one being a turnover on downs and one being a fumble. Like they just needed to run clock off and get points.
Yeah.
So that drive to me was about protecting the ball and getting points more so than it was about trying to increase the amount of risk of giving the ball away and trying to get a touchdown. To me, it was
also just
clock.
Get the ball in your playmakers' hands and try to make something happen.
Yeah. I'll go a little bit more into the detail about that as well, but I'm going to jump into Jake's notes on 3rd and 4th down offense. 3rd and 4th down offense, Packers were 6 of 12 on 3rd down, 1 for 3 on 4th down. They were 2 for 6 in the first half, 4 for 6 in the second half. Packers ran the ball well, just didn't finish drives. Jake said 2 weeks in a row, the same story, which is I have notes on that when we get into the preview of how far they've kind of fallen as far as the red zone is concerned. So going into let's talk about Jordan Love and Malik Willis, and then I'll give some coaching thoughts. So, Bryant, I'll go to you first. What were you thinking about Jordan Love and Malik Willis from this game?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we lost because of either of their play. It's hard to ask Malik to come in and sit there and score a bunch of points. It's unfortunate we had, the concussion. I thought Jordan was playing well for the most part. Like I said, 8 for 13 for 77 yards. He had a couple nice scrambles. He was playing well. I think we put up more than 16 points so all these people are saying Malik should be the starter. I think we put up more than 16 points if Jordan Love stays in that game because there's one play where Malik throws a tight window throw to Jaden Reed for 31 yards. Well, guess what? Christian Watson was wide open for a touchdown. That's probably not something Jordan Love misses if that's schemed up for him.
Still a good throw, but opportunity.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. It was a nice 31-yard completion. It would have been a touchdown because no one's catching Christian Watson when he has a 5-yard head start. No one in the NFL is probably catching Christian Watson if he has a 5-yard head start. So, it's unfortunate, but we can't put the game on them. Malik was trying to gut it out. It sucks that he fumbled on that 4th and 1. It really sucks. Don't get me wrong. But he's in pain at that point and everything else, and it is what it is. You got to put. Ultimately, the defense played really good until when they didn't. So you can't put it. You don't want to put it all on the defense, but they got to play better right there. Especially they know their guy is out of the game. Like Keyshawn Nixon just is not. I should have said this about special teams. I want to see him returning because this bullshit idea that we don't want to get our number 1 corner hurt. I'm sorry. It's like he could add some value to returning. And yeah, he made the nice play against Chicago a couple weeks ago, but he definitely gives up more like big plays than he makes big plays. And I think if we put him back there to return the ball, we could help our special teams for 1, and 2, it'd give him an option to make another big play because he can take one to the house. We've seen him do it. We don't have another returner like him on the field. So I wish they would. Sorry, I know that was a little off topic, but I forgot to bring it up. But overall, Jordan Love and Malik, I'm happy with our quarterback situation. No, Malik should not start over Jordan Love, and you're an idiot if you actually truly think that.
I'll save my Love Willis comparison thing till the coaching, but I will say as far as the returning thing goes, I think Savion Williams is really good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Simon, what did you think about Love and Willis?
Yeah, I saw they played pretty well. I just the little things with execution and taking care of the ball as a team that really kind of hurt us in this game. I really had no issues with either of their gameplay. I thought honestly we were running down the field on them like all game. The whole game was just up and down the field on them, and I thought, it was just a couple of critical moments for the offense that I think a little bit better execution, and sky's the limit.
And that goes right back to the red zone being 0 for 5 in the red zone. You got 5 trips into the red zone.
I don't think it's that.
Greg said that we lost because of the heat on the sidelines. Equal heat, Bears lose. Hey, I mean, add it to the list of things that had to happen for the Bears to get a win in overtime in their own building.
Uh-huh.
As far as Jordan Love and Malik Willis, I will say, like the guy said, there's nothing that Jordan Love did that there's anything to complain about. I do think, like the guy said too, that we would have scored more points with Jordan Love in the game, because I don't think Jordan Love misses Christian Watson open in that situation. It's possible. I'm not going to say that it's impossible, and I'm not going to. And again, we clarified that it was still a really good throw to Jaden Reed, but there was an opportunity for an even bigger play. I will say, Malik Willis picking up a 4th and 1 with his legs, playing really well within the offense, doing a great job extending plays. He threw a dime to Romeo Doubs for a touchdown, playing hurt in overtime, still ripped a huge gain to Jaden Reed. He did take the blame for the 4th down penalty or the 4th down fumble in overtime. He said he was trying to rush the snap because he wanted to get it off with the play clock. Greg said the Heat with the overtime, make sure we return the favor next year if the Bears somehow become the 7th seed. Yeah, that would be interesting.
I mean, there's a decent shot that they could be the 7th seed.
I think it's if the Packers win out and the Bears lose out.
Yep.
I don't think it's crazy impossible.
I don't either. They play the 49ers and the Lions.
If we win both of our games, I think if we win both of our games, take care of our business, I think it's a 50-50 chance that we have the number 2 seed.
The Lions are faltering. They look not great.
I wonder if they're going to start shutting players down because they're basically eliminated.
That was my only thought. Is since would Campbell or whatever do Ben Johnson a favor and shut down people to help him keep the number 2 seed, which would be very like that for me. That would just solidify even more that the Lions and Bears, like, anytime they beat us, it's their Super Bowl and they're so happy. And you know what I mean? Like, to do that'd be absolutely insane. So hopefully he doesn't do that. Hopefully he has more of a vendetta to go out and beat them, but we'll see.
I don't know. I don't think that's like in Dan Campbell to do something like that, or at least that's not the way he's like portrayed.
I think he wants to go and beat Ben Johnson.
Yeah. Like if he went and beat the crap out of him again by 30-some points or whatever, that'd be sick.
That'd be fun. I would not give the Bears confidence heading into a potential another matchup with the Packers. I'll say that.
I will say the Bears are playing a lot better than they
lost. It absolutely does. Andrew brought up a really good point as it relates to the game. Said the unsung hero for the Bears was Cairo Santos. The win was Sterling and Homeboy made hard field goals to keep them in the game. Absolutely,
or whatever that he hit
played very, very well. He deserves credit.
Yeah, the one that he hit that was like 51 yards that he literally started way outside the post and it curled back in. Yeah, that's an amazing kick.
And a laser beam kick at that.
Yeah.
Okay, so on the coaching aspect, Matt LaFleur called his first time out on 4th and 1 in the red zone to see how the Bears lined up. I didn't love the play call, but I won't complain about putting the ball in Jordan Love's hands. And again, Bears have a bad red zone defense, so I'm not at all mad at that. Then you look at it and you see what the Bears did on their 4th down in the red zone, and it's like, oh, fuck, that was way worse. They tried some cute trick play bullshit, and it just spectacularly backfired. Trying to have Cole Kmet rush up under the center and then having the center snap the ball over the Wildcat running back's head. That was brilliant stuff there. So I'll take the ball in Jordan Love's hands versus some bullshit like that.
Yeah.
Then LaFleur called the second time out on a 4th and 1 on their own 41 with Malik Willis in, and they still went for it. I was like, oh, okay, they're going to call the timeout, or they're just going to, take the 5-yard penalty and then punt. And they went for it. And they ran with Malik Willis. Chicago was not prepared for that. Now, here is where I'm going to draw the line between Malik Willis and Jordan Love. That type of play isn't a reason for Malik Willis to play over Jordan Love. That type of play is where credit is due to Matt LaFleur. You have two guys who have two very different play styles, and both of them playing well within your offense. To me, that credit goes obviously to Malik Willis, but it goes more to Matt LaFleur to have two quarterbacks who have two different play styles, both play well in a game you are not expecting to have to use two quarterbacks. I've been very critical. You can go back and watch our shows from like week 4 until about week 9 or 10 about the way that Matt LaFleur was running this offense. And I am sitting here telling you today, this game is a big point in the favor of Matt LaFleur. The players needed to execute better, and the Packers win this game. This loss is on the execution of the players. We broke it all down, all the plays that happened. But Matt LaFleur is not at all the reason to blame, and people calling for Matt LaFleur to be fired after this game. No, this isn't the
That's
one.
not it.
This
He
is not
coached a very good game.
Yep.
So.
As far as time of possession goes, Packers won 39-26. Just again, the execution was bad. But I think the game plan was good. To Brian's credit, he talked about it last week. Like, this is the week to try to beat the Bears their own game, play keep away. They did that. They, again, like to Scott's point too, like it feels like we outplayed them and still lost. It's like, I agree. That's really where it is. The Packers dominated this game for 57 minutes.
Yep.
So, move on. Going into Packers-Ravens, again, the Packers still, I think it's 94% to 91% to make the playoffs. A win or a tie in either last two games, or a loss or a tie for the Lions in their last two games, and the Packers are in. Obviously, we don't want to back into the playoffs, but, they're pretty much in. At this point, I'm a little bit more focused on healing than I am about, trying to like prove something and go 2-0. So let's go into Packers-Ravens. Bryant, what are you looking for from the Packers defense against the Ravens offense?
Yeah, I mean, it all comes down to you're not going to stop their running game, but it all comes down to slowing down their run game. That is pretty much Baltimore's path to victory. They lead the league in 5.2 yards per carry. I think if Green Bay can hold them closer to something like 4.2 yards per carry or 4.3 yards per carry, which is still very good, but that would be good. They have put the ball on the ground 20 times. They've only lost 3, which is kind of incredible. But
one of them was last week too.
Yeah. Go for the punch outs. Derrick Henry has fumbled a few times in big spots, so go for the ball linebackers. The passing game's had its struggles. I'll say if Lamar plays, obviously that's a big thing. They're more effective with him under center, but really not since his injury. And so a lot of his stats, if you look at his stats, they're like, oh, they're not terrible. Well, a lot of those came in the first 4 weeks. The last 7 games, he's only thrown 4 touchdowns and 5 interceptions in the last 7 games that he started. My probably biggest concern is they do have 2 really dynamic. Now, Zay Flowers is a weapon. He's got like 1,000-something yards. Their next highest person is 300-something yards at Mark Andrews. But they do have 2 very dynamic tight ends. So with where we've struggled in coverage in the linebacker position, plus you have to watch the running quarterback, whether it's Tyler Huntley or Lamar, both of them run. And then you also have to watch the tight ends and Derrick Henry. That could be a little bit of a strain on our defense. I'll say they've given up 41 sacks on the season, so hopefully we have a chance to get to them a couple times. Lastly, be ready for anything. They're going to be super aggressive. They have to win this game or their season's over. For them to, because they won't have the. Unfortunately, I wish the Steelers played at noon on Saturday and beat the Cleveland Browns or whatever and put it away, and the Ravens had nothing to play for. That's not the case. They're still alive technically, but we also have a lot to play for. I honestly think it's not a far-fetched idea that we could still end up the number 2 seed. So, just be ready for anything.
Yeah. Scott said, I think Lamar might not play, and I agree. I think it's possible that he doesn't. And Jake said with that, with no Lamar, he said he expects a zone heavy look with some A-gap pressure created from Quay Walker and Edgerrin Cooper. Simon, what are you looking for from the Packers defense against the Ravens offense?
Yeah, Bryant said most of it. I think this is definitely a game where we just have to put a bunch of people in the box and slow down the run. If Lamar plays, I really like Zay Flowers. If he doesn't, I'm not that confident that Tyler Huntley can get him the ball on a consistent basis. We all love Zay Flowers coming in the draft. He's a really talented player, yes. And then
I really like Zay Flowers going into the draft.
But yeah, it's just stop the run.
Yeah. Looking at the defensive line, I need better production, and more importantly, I need better effort out of Rashawn Gary. This season has invited the possibility of letting him go at the end of the year, which coming into the year, we were hoping we had the best pass rush duo in the league. Now it might be Myles Garrett and whoever his ghost is playing on the other side.
In the first 5 weeks of the season, we thought we did.
And it absolutely was. And since then, it's been all Micah Parsons, and now it's nobody. Yeah. Granted, we've only played one game without Micah Parsons, and it was versus a mobile quarterback. But playing a mobile quarterback again this week, then we play whoever Minnesota is going to put out there in Week 18. But then we could potentially be playing Caleb Williams again.
Brosmer, or what's his name?
Or Ripien.
Yeah. Oh, Ripien?
Yeah. But looking at Rashawn Gary playing 37 snaps, and he was barely visible. Honestly, the most memorable thing that Rashawn Gary did was jog behind Caleb Williams as he ran towards the sideline. With that, I think kind of similarly with Kingsley Enagbare, who played 43 snaps. And I brought up when we were doing the recap, people complaining about LVN. He played 20 snaps, but at least he had one key play. So just keep ramping up with LVN. I think he's got the potential to be doing some good things. I would like to see a little bit more Jordan Riley. I think he's done some really good stuff versus the run, so I think this is an opportunity for a game against who, if they're playing without Lamar, are going to be leaning very heavily on Derrick Henry. I think this is an opportunity for Jordan Riley to kind of have a pretty important, impactful game in a way that can help the Packers win. Bryant, what are you looking for from special teams?
Just the least bit of competence.
Just don't fuck it up.
Yeah. If the game is in special teams' hands, I do not feel comfortable. I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
Maybe if it's a field goal. Brandon McManus has played a lot better since Foley being back from his injury. I think he came back too early. I think he put pressure on himself to come back too early because the substitute teacher was going to take his job and everyone was talking about it and everything else. They do have a really good punt returner, so we got to be careful there. And their kicker's been automatic from 50 yards in. He's 29 or 26.
Tyler Luke looks good.
Yeah, 26, 26, 29, and 29, but he's only 1 for 4 out of 50 plus. So try to make him make some long kicks. If you can hold him there, that's fine. He'll probably miss. Then again, everyone makes their kicks against Green Bay. It's crazy, but just competence. We can't have any mistakes from the special teams anymore.
It's been really rough. We've had the whole season, but it's still it's not. It hasn't been legendarily bad. It's not like the year
it's
that
just happened at
San Diego Chargers were number 1 offense, number 1 defense, and missed the playoffs. It's not that bad, but it's approaching that. I mean,
just think about it.
5 losses, and it's okay, you can directly attribute special teams to 3 of them.
Yeah, 3 of them. Browns, Bears, and who's the other one?
Potentially Philly, Carolina.
I don't know that it was Carolina. Did we miss a kick against Carolina? We did, didn't we?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So
Scott said the last home game in the regular season, we need to get a W.
True.
Yeah, that would be great. Jumping into offense, look at Jake's notes for the offense. He said, I don't think you have to change much of how you've been playing. Take the matchup you like, whether that's Watson or Dobbs, and abuse that until they stop it and pound the rock. That's all very fair. For me, looking at the offense, the passing game distribution, like Jake said, too, with his notes, keep doing what you've been doing the last 4 games. They've moved the ball down the field, like Simon said, much better than the Philly game at the 4 or 5 games before that. They just need to finish the drive. The red zone last week was fucking garbage. 2 turnovers, 3 field goals, put the ball in the end zone. This is the note that I had. The Packers are only 20% on touchdowns in their last 3 games. In that time, those last 3 games, they've gone from the number 2 red zone offense to the number 14 red zone offense.
Oof.
Baltimore has the number 6 red zone defense at 51% on touchdown percentage. So Packers need to finish drives with touchdowns. Simon, what are you looking for from the Packers offense against the Ravens defense?
I think the biggest thing is, the Ravens defense has been showing up the last month. They've played some pretty
bowlers on defense.
Yeah, they had an awful start to the season. Missing a bunch of guys with injury and stuff, but since they've been healthy, they've been pretty good. And they're not going to make it easy on whoever starts at quarterback. But I want to see a lot of downfield passing and avoiding self-inflicted wounds. Can we please stop just effing ourselves with these execution issues that's kind of like been the last couple of weeks. If we do that, I feel good about this team putting up 30 points plus on any team in the league.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bryant, what are you looking for from the offense?
Yeah, they've been playing better as late. Their defense, they got a really weird defense, to be honest. Hopefully Love is back in wide receiver role because they are the fifth worst against giving up yards in the NFL. However, they're like top 5 in average against for those and rating. So they give up a lot of underneath stuff. So they give up a decent amount of yards, but not giving up deep shots. That's because they do have a very all-pro safety named Kyle Hamilton that you got to be careful about. That guy's a monster. He's so good. So they have given up 21 touchdowns, but they have the 10 interceptions, so the cornerbacks can go get the ball. They're okay. They're middle of the pack against the run, allowing 4.2 yards per carry, kind of like, just a little more than us. So they are a top team in the league and on third down, so we definitely got to stay out of third and long. If we can get in a lot of third and 3, third, 4, third and 5, I think we can do a lot of stuff underneath against them and hopefully convert a lot of those first downs, 50% like we've been on the season. So really you can't make mistakes. You're going to have to move the ball and be methodical against them. Unfortunately, it's been hard for us not to make mistakes. Lastly, luckily, they're not crazy. They're bottom 5 in the league and get sacking the quarterback. So hopefully, even if Zach Tom isn't back, we'll be able to protect Jordan Love a decent amount. Our Malik Willis, our Clayton Tude, God forbid, to move the ball.
I will say to your point of the Ravens allowing underneath stuff, that is a big thing with potentially having Jordan Love available, because Jordan Love has more arm strength than Malik Willis to be able to throw those more horizontal type, those 5-yard out routes. That's it's a potentially a 6-yard gain, but it's still like a 25-yard throw. Yeah. Like that kind of stuff. That would be a big advantage for the Packers.
Which he's been very good at this year.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. As far as coaching goes for this game, my big thing like I said, is don't count on backing into the playoffs with a Lions loss. I'd like to see the Packers finish strong, use the previous 2 games as a way to coach resilience, and use the final 2 games as a way to build momentum. And again, I still want to be healthy. So, Bryant, looking at it, what are the injury designations to watch for?
Oh, good God. So there's 20 Packers on the injury report today. So I'll give you the did not practices were Bohanna and Bo Melton both did not practice with an illness. So hopefully that stops spreading through the locker room. But then you had Zach Tom and Christian Welch were the 2 did not practice. So limited participants were Banks, Jacobs, which was nice to see Jacobs practicing today. That means, he rested all last week. Maybe he's feeling a little bit better coming out of this game. Love was limited, which is huge. That's a step forward in the concussion protocol. Obviously, they have to see how he comes out of it this week. So keep an eye. If he doesn't practice tomorrow, that's a very bad sign. He's probably not playing. So Mosby was limited. Ryan was limited. Riley was limited. LVN was limited. Wiley was limited. So hopefully he practices again tomorrow. That would be a good sign for his concussion. Another big one is Evan Williams was limited today. And then Malik Willis was limited as well. And then, of course, the one big did not practice for the Ravens was Lamar Jackson. I know they said it's some kind of bruise.
Contusion.
Yeah, the goal is for him to play this week, so he might just be resting, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah. What pulled up the weather for Sunday? Looks like Sunday 34 degrees with cloudy wind and a 23% chance of precipitation. So
we play Saturday night, but it's pretty close to
Saturday night. You're right. Yep.
I looked it up. It's like 33 and possible drizzles.
I see. I got 38 and 30 at night with possible rain showers. That would suck. 10 to 15 miles an hour winds. Chance of rain is 50%.
Yeah, I've seen drizzles though, which actually would be not good for us. We do not want it to be raining.
Don't need to increase the chances of fumbles.
Or for them running all over and us not being able to throw.
Well, I mean, the Packers ran pretty effectively too, so I mean, they can run, but yeah, it's not ideal if we're talking about throwing the ball. All right, Simon, who's your X factor?
My X factor is the interior defensive line. I think they really need to step it up, and with a strong rushing attack like Baltimore has. I think they do a lot of inside stuff. You really need them step up and help out stopping Derrick Henry. Still a monster player.
Yeah. Matthew, we just ran through that. Love is a maybe, and I did see from Willis talking today that he would be like a probably, even if he was listed as questionable.
Yeah, he said he would be ready to play.
Have Malik Willis available. Okay. Bryant, who is your X factor?
Yeah, mine, because of what I was kind of talking about, the under deep throw stuff, mine is Jaden Reed. I think he could, his crossers and stuff and just quick outlets and stuff like that will be kind of big for this game.
Yeah. I went out of a guy with just lack of other options. I went with Luke Musgrave just because Josh Wiley is not 100% to play. And other than that, we spent 5 minutes looking to see if Mercedes Lewis was available. Like that's what it feels like our next best option is for sure. Yeah, Scott said otherwise it's Clayton Tune. Which,
I think
I feel good with the fact that Jordan Love said he was feeling better on come Sunday, and then
Malik Willis
Monday, and then Tuesday he was limited. I feel good that he'll be ready to go.
And Malik Willis, I think, said he feels pretty good too.
He said he'll be ready to play if
he needs to.
Yeah.
Clayton Tune, I don't know.
He's on a practice squad for a reason, but he's got some experience with Arizona.
Yep. I liked him a little bit coming out of college as like a backup guy.
Seems like he's a pretty bulky guy too.
So hopefully we don't have to find out. But we did get a note from Matt LaFleur that the emergency quarterbacks, if Malik Willis couldn't stay in the game, would have been Josh Jacobs and Jaden Reed.
Yeah.
I thought it might have been Savion Williams just because he's thrown the ball a little bit, but obviously you don't want to necessarily put that on a rookie to be your emergency quarterback, especially when you played what happens. All right, let's jump into some score predictions. Matthew, Merry Christmas to you as well. We got the Christmas background rolling.
Merry Christmas.
Merry
What is your
Christmas.
score prediction from the head?
Mine's 27-24 Packers, which scares me because that means it comes down to special teams.
Oh, fuck. Jake has 27-17. I have 24-17.
I also have 24-17.
Hey, attaboy. All right, I like it. Bryant, what do you have from the heart?
27-20 is still a close game. I think Baltimore is going to keep it close.
I have 27-13, and that is, in my opinion, with Lamar Jackson not playing. Jake has
if it's Jordan Love versus Tyler Huntley, yeah.
Scott said 27-24. Matthew said 30-24. Simon, what do you have from the heart?
I have 30-14.
I will say I was at the Baltimore Ravens Packers game a few years ago when Tyler Huntley started, and he gave us a run for our money.
Yeah.
That
was a good game.
Running quarterbacks, though.
I was right in that corner of that end zone when the damn
the 2-point conversion.
2-point conversion happened.
Yeah. The Packers were not good at defending mobile quarterbacks at that point, though. They've been better at it the last 2 years. All right. Simon says, Bryant, do you have some?
Yeah, I got 3 of them here. I'll give my first. Right. I'll give my offense and my bonus. So I put Jordan Love returns to Toyota-thon Jordan going for 250 and 3 touchdowns. And then my bonus is that one of them finally goes to Matthew Golden.
I would love that. And let me just jump in because mine is very similar. Because I put Love comes back and throws 3 touchdowns to 3 different players.
That'd be nice too. I really want Golden. I really just want him to score so people will shut up.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
I would love a Matthew Golden, a Luke Musgrave, and a Jaden Reed touchdown this week.
That'd be nice.
That
would feel good. All right. Brian, do you got one for defense?
I do. I put that the Packers forced 2 turnovers.
That was a good one.
I kept mine kind of simple just because I was a little defeated when I was doing my notes, to be honest with you, but I just put the Quay Walker gets a forced fumble and a sack.
That'd be nice. I think we're we've been trying to simulate a little bit of pressure the last couple of weeks with Mike out, so I could see it.
All right, Simon, you got any bold predictions for this weekend?
I have Carrington Valentine pick, and then I had Josh Jacobs going for 2 touchdowns, but I'm not really sure where he's at with his health. So whoever starts, I have going for 2 touchdowns.
All right. Scott said I'm wearing my golden jersey today. in game, he will score there. That would be great. I would love
Are
that.
you going? You're going to the game,
Give him-
Scott?
Give him some momentum going into the playoffs.
Ah,
I was going
Vikings-
into the Vikings
the
game.
Viking game. Oh, nice.
Sweet.
Have fun. Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll be back next week, hopefully back with Jake. And he's recovered in that. But have a good Christmas, everybody. We'll be back next Tuesday, and Go Pack Go on Saturday night.
Go Pack.